Today, Davenport Wine, Spirits, and Cigars has graced me with not one, but 2 bottles of Stranahan's single malt barrel picks. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Brad's Bourbon Reviews. I'm Brad, and today we are going to do a deep dive into 2 of these different Stranahan Blue Peak single malt whiskey. So these are 2 barrel picks that were done for Davenport Wine, Spirits, and Cigars, a great little liquor store here in Davenport, Florida, right outside of Orlando. If you're scared because you don't know where Davenport is, just think Orlando. It's literally next door. And so from what I understand from the guys over at the store, these were barrel picks that they picked out. I tried one of them in the store, and they gave me these bottles to do reviews of. There are 2 different bottles here. The first one is a single malt whiskey finished in Solera and Kentucky bourbon casks, which is interesting. So it's a single malt here. And the second one is also a single malt. It is a single malt whiskey finished in Solera, finished with New York bourbon cask. So I have had one of these, and I believe the one I had was the New York. It was the New York one. So this one's a little higher proof. It's 110 proof. And then the other one is the Kentucky bourbon cask, and that's the 86 proof. And that's the one we're going to start with, just so we can kind of keep in proof order. So I'm going to open up the Kentucky bourbon cask one first. These are fresh cracks on these. Shout out again to Davenport Wine, Spirits, and Cigars for letting me do these reviews. Let's give it a nosing. Let's see how we feel. Very honey forward on the nose here. It smells really nice. It smells like honey and honestly a little bit of lemon or lime. It's kind of interesting nose. It smells a little barrel-y, but not like barrel char, more like just kind of like a oaky, almost like when you walk into a Home Depot. Yeah, honey, a little bit of citrus, which is a weird one. Maybe could lean into like a green apple maybe, but it's kind of fruity and light. I really like the nose on this. I'm enjoying this quite a bit. It's super light. I'm probably going to pour another one of these and go smoke a cigar with this. This is super light and something that I like. I like to pair heavy with dark. That's kind of how I pair cigars. I don't know if that's the right way to pair cigars, but that's how I do it. Let's give the first one a mouthing. Let's see how we feel. That is a 1-to-1 carryover from the nose to the palate. There is a chalky consistency to this that I kind of like, and I'm starting to think that that's just single malts, because it just kind of reminds me of every other single malt I've had. Every single malt has this chalky, thick, dusty characteristic to it, and I really enjoy it. Yeah, it's good. The citrus is weird because it's like an amalgamation of a orange, a lime, and a lemon. There's a little bit of sourness to it, but there's the lime peel and then a little bit of orange note to it. It's interesting. An Orlyman. That's what we're going with. It's an Orlyman, an orange lime lemon Orlyman. That's a new tasting note. That's going to be a t-shirt. I get notes of Orlyman. People are going to go, why are you wearing that shirt? To me, I'm looking forward to this one because it's a little higher proof, and that's what I tend to gravitate towards and like a little bit more. So let's give this one a proper nosing and mouthing, and let's see how we feel. This is the New York bourbon cask coming in at 110 proof. Give it a nosing. Let's see how we feel. Okay, so it kind of has the same vibe to it. I'm gonna A/B compare. This is the New York bourbon cask. This is the Kentucky bourbon cask. Higher proof, lower proof. The nose on the lower proof is actually more interesting. This one just kind of has a caramel note to it. This one has fruit and is much lighter. I have never said this, I don't think, in my life, but I prefer the lower proof one here to this on the nose anyway. This one has a little unpleasant leather note to it. I usually like leather in stags and stuff, a little higher proof, but for right now in this specific example, it doesn't really work that well. But there's some caramel and vanilla in there as well. I think maybe if this opened up for a little bit, not even opened up the bottle opened up, I just mean this pour opened up a little bit and had a chance to breathe for a second, which I'm going to let it do, but I think that might help. So I'm going to give it a minute and I'll come back to it.
A few moments later.
All right, about 2 or 3 minutes have passed, so let's give it another nosing and see how I feel. Much softer on the nose. The honey comes over. It's almost into honeysuckle, which is one of my favorite notes to get on a bourbon. I like the honey mixed with floral note. I really kind of dig that. And that honey note's still there. The honey note is just so nice. It's like honeycomb. Let's give it a mouthing. Let's see how we feel. Oh, I like that way better on the palate. Ooh, except for the finish. That finish is pretty harsh on the tip of my tongue. And this is not my first pour of the night either, so it's not like I'm just kind of going, ooh, proofy. Am I actually going to say I prefer the lower proof one? There's something unpleasant on the very tip of my tongue that I do not like. It almost feels like touching your tongue to a 9-volt battery. I like the flavors, but that tip of my tongue, I've never had a whiskey that just attacked the tip of my tongue like that. I don't enjoy that. The verdict is in. I'm going to try it one more time, and if that pungent stingingness on the tip of my tongue happens again, I'm going to have to say I like the lower proof one. Let's give it one more shot. Yep, did it again on the finish. Not a fan of the New York bourbon cask one. I am a pretty big fan of the Kentucky bourbon cask. So if you are in the Orlando area and you're curious about trying a good single malt whiskey, This is a good one. This Solera finished with Kentucky bourbon cask is a solid pour. I can't believe I picked the lower proof one, but sometimes that's how it goes. If you're curious about that, head over to Davenport Wine, Spirits, and Cigars. Tell them I sent you. But that's the review, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. I appreciate it very much. I started a Patreon. If you're curious about that, there's a link in the description of this video. Check it out. You can become a free member as well. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. If we can hit 2,500 subscribers in the year 2024, and we are this close, we have already hit 2,000 subscribers. I can't thank you guys enough. We hit 2,500. I'm going to do a 3 allocated bottle giveaway if we can hit that number by the end of 2024. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, cheers. A big thank you to all the Patreon supporters you see on screen right now.